not my mimosa.
No. It's not your mimosa.
Why is it not my mimosa?
It's not your mimosa.
Are you going to drink it?
No. This is your mimosa. Don't get mad. Why are you mad?
Because I only spilled it one time, and I spilled it because you were reaching over me.
That's absolutely not true.
I was trying to drink it as you reached over me, and that's how it got spilled. It was your fault. It was not my fault.
All I know is that I have a piece of equipment that is no longer functional because you spilled a mimosa on it, and so there you go. This is what you're gonna use.
But I didn't spill it. You spilled it, and I feel like that's
you
not
spilled
fair.
it.
I know that I have a history.
Is it a mimosa still?
I have a
Is it still a
history.
mimosa?
It's not the same when it's not out of a champagne.
It's still
cup.
a mimosa.
I don't want it.
You're not gonna drink it?
Mm-mm. I know I have a history of spilling drinks and getting sippy cups, but that time that it got spilled on your thing was not. It was not my fault.
Right, whatever.
Did you want to cheers me?
Okay, welcome to. Hi, everybody. I'm Claude,
And this is Renee.
and this is Before the Kids Wakes Up. Before the kids wake up. Well, I can't talk today.
With a plastic sippy cup.
Yeah, because if you watch the second episode, Renee spilled literally a whole
Mimosa
on a piece of equipment and just basically destroyed. I had to toss it.
Wasn't my fault.
Totally your fault. But yeah, how do you feel? You were in there cleaning. I heard like something like.
Yeah, no, I picked up. I folded all the clothes. I got all the clothes put away. Oh,
Yeah.
I even cleaned the bathroom. I was like, oh, let me just do this real quick before I get in the shower. So yeah.
I have to say, we have a Bissell Turbo Pet floor cleaner, and it's literally like the best thing ever. I highly recommend it, especially if you are married to a white woman that refuses to get rid of the animals. Cheers to that.
And an old dog that tends to constantly get bladder infections and
switch.
have
This
accidents.
is stronger anyway.
Oh, thank God.
I'll take this back.
I feel a little bit more bougie out of this.
Oh, no. You drank that one. No. You got to wash that before that goes back to the kid.
Yeah.
God. Anyhow, it is so what I realized is that the first time we recorded this show was actually our anniversary.
Was it?
Yeah, I think it was 5 year anniversary.
Wow.
And it's kind of a special thing today because next week will be our 8-year anniversary. So definitely celebration. Well, cheers again.
Yes, cheers again.
Cheers to you. Clink, clink. 8 years is a really long time. It seems like it's been 80.
Yeah. Some days it does seem like it's been a long time, but most of the time it really, I feel like we were just in our 20s together.
We were never in our 20s.
Yes, I met you when I was 29.
You were 29. Okay. Okay. I'll give you
We
that.
officially started dating when I turned 30.
Okay. I'll give you that.
But I met you before, if you remember.
I was a young buck. I was like 27, 26, 27, I think, right?
If I was 29, you were 27.
Not skinnier. Not just as handsome as I am now, though. My face hasn't really changed at all.
Well, I feel as if in celebration of our 8-year anniversary, you should tell the story about how you got my number.
It's a stupid story. You tell it. You'd always tell it, and it's an awful story.
Why is it an awful story? I
Go
find
ahead.
it hilarious.
You tell the story then.
Well, I just wanted to say the fact he bought me a drink, and then he proceeded to spill it on me.
Because I was drunk.
Because he was drunk,
Very
and it
drunk.
was hilarious. And the friend that I was with, he had asked the friend that I was with, "Hey, can I have her number?" And she said, "What'd she say? She's a grown adult. She can make her own decisions."
Well, I mean, yeah. I feel like back then that was you had to get. So the friend that you were with was obviously a gatekeeper.
She was my babysitter. She was my DD. I was out celebrating, and she was there.
Definitely in charge of making sure you don't get taken away by some random guy at the bar.
Exactly.
She failed.
No, you didn't take me away. You just got me your number, and then you took me later.
I took you away in life. That's an ultimate win.
That's true.
Like I literally took you away in life.
Yeah, but I gave you my number.
Winning.
I gave you my number, and I think only because I was equally as intoxicated. Because had I been sober, you spilling a drink on me would not have been funny to me. I would have been hella annoyed.
So you're telling me right now, so you only went out with me because you were drunk?
No, I only gave you my number.
I mean, I shouldn't feel bad about that. Like most of my serious relationships have started because the other person was drunk.
Yeah, I think you would have been fine, but I think that the moment you spilled the drink on me, I would have no longer found you funny.
Okay, that's true.
And you were wearing that goofy multicolored hat.
Multicolored hat, yeah. Mm-hmm. I had to put up pictures, maybe. That'd be fun, like to see how we looked back then.
Young.
Very young.
No wrinkles. These wrinkles.
I don't have wrinkles now.
It's not fair.
Oh, I just don't.
Maybe you don't smile enough. Maybe I have them because I'm smiling all the time.
If the penalty for not smiling is that you don't get wrinkles, I will literally frown until the day I die.
No, because then you can get wrinkles from frowning. You have to be indifferent
to be able to look young forever.
I think you have to be indifferent. Because if you frown, you'll get wrinkles too, right?
I've never heard of frown lines. They're called smile lines.
Yeah, because most people don't just go around frowning.
Oh, okay.
Whatever.
Well, you had a fun week with our daughter.
I did?
Yeah, you told me that you wanted to talk about some crazy things she did.
Oh, I don't
remember.
I don't remember. There's just so much crazy. But it wasn't last week. It was the week before. Her and I took the week off together.
Uh-huh.
But I had a fun time.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember now all the things that we did. We went to the beach one day. We went to see the Little Mermaid. That was a lot of fun.
That was good, right?
It was really, really good. She enjoyed it. But did I tell you, it was so funny because, and she's seen the original.
Stop moving that way. You're moving away from the mic.
Anyways, she has seen the original Little Mermaid,
okay.
but she had acted as if this was like a completely different storyline.
Yeah.
So partway through, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, Mom, are they gonna get Ursula?" and she was so funny, like just as if she didn't know.
She was repping the villain.
No, she wanted to make sure that they were gonna get Ursula.
Oh, they wanted. She wanted to make sure they were gonna actually get the bad guy.
Because she was scared.
That makes sense.
Oh, but later, do you know what she told me?
What?
Ursula was her favorite character. Do you want to know why?
It tracks.
Wait. Can you guess why?
No. Why?
Because Ursula is Suki from.
From.
But I'm the one who pointed that out to her when she was getting really scared of her. I said, "Hey, you know who Ursula is?" I said, "It's Suki." She goes, "Oh my gosh, Mommy, it is!" And then she was no longer afraid of her. And then now that's her favorite character.
Yeah, I think it was really good that movie did well. For those of us who have biracial children, it was definitely going to be, everybody made it such a big deal because they did the whole change of the race thing. But
they did such a great job.
I didn't get a job. I've heard. I didn't see it personally, just because I'm more
working that week.
Well, and I'm also more of a Beauty and the Beast guy than I am a Little Mermaid. I think it's kind of a weird concept. Like a sea teenager decides that she wants to walk on land and get married by some random guy that she just met.
When she's 16 years old.
Yeah, I understand that. I don't want to encourage my 16-year-old daughter to want to leave the house to go find some man in other lands.
Yeah. Oh, well, you know what else she told me afterwards? She said, "Mommy, I think Ursula's. I think that King Titan." She did say King Titan.
Triton.
Yeah, Triton, whatever. Yeah. She was like, "I think the dad made the right decision
to let her go."
And I said, "What do you mean the right decision?" She said, "Well, to let her go because she loved him." And I said, "Oh crap, we're in so much trouble."
That's crazy. I hope she doesn't. What is the lyric on the song? They don't reprimand them daughters. Yes, no, you're definitely not going to be leaving home at 16 to go find some random guy you met on a ship.
No,
it's
not going to happen.
I don't care if you did save his life.
Yeah. But it's nice to see. Little Mermaid was my favorite.
Okay.
Growing up, and then later became.
Really?
Yeah, it was my favorite. I love Little Mermaid. And then later on became Hercules.
Okay, yeah.
So Hercules is my second
Hercules
favorite.
came out when you were like an adult.
I was in high school.
High school.
Mm-hmm. I used to watch it with the girls, with my cousins when I babysat.
Okay.
Yeah, so Hercules is my second favorite, but Little Mermaid was always my favorite. Yeah. So to get to see it through her eyes, seeing it for the first, experience some of those things it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, because even when she said, "Oh, Mommy, have you seen this before?" I was here for the
You've
original.
seen this before. Like, why are you so surprised? That, oh no, Ariel, you've seen this before. What do you? But through the eyes of a child, everything is wonder and glam and happiness and rainbows and all that great stuff. So I'm glad you did that, so that I didn't have to.
Yeah, well, I had fun. Her and I had a really good, fun girls' day together.
Absolutely, we had a good anniversary thing to us too.
We did. Yeah. So I'm really proud of us because we've tried to make this pact where we eat at new places. Right. And yesterday we ate at 2 new places.
We ate at 2 new. What was the first?
Yeah, the Asian.
Asian Kitchen. Mm-hmm. Tampa Asian Kitchen.
Yeah, we hadn't eaten there before, and then
Fabrici. And historic Hyde Park.
And it was really nice. Yeah. The wine was amazing.
I like the vibe. The vibe
was great.
I like the Al Capone ceilings. That is where they have the little squares and I don't know if that was.
And the music. So they actually had somebody playing a guitar and singing. Yeah. But it wasn't crazy
super
loud.
Yeah.
We sound like
that's how you know we're old. It wasn't crazy loud in there. We could hear each other. No, the crazy loudness is fine. I can go anywhere. We actually went out on Friday too, and we went to a couple places that were super freaking loud.
Yeah.
And you couldn't hear anything. I actually went to a concert a couple I think it was Monday, and the performances were great. It's just that it was so freaking loud in there that you couldn't hear anything. You couldn't even. There was no interactions or socializing going on at all. You're just focusing solely.
You're
on
trying to do sign language to talk because you can't. Really.
And maybe that is just because we're getting older. Like the idea of being in a super loud room just isn't like appealing. Mainly because I'm trying to like socialize. Like we don't get to. Like, we spend 80% of our time in this house with our kids who are awful, and so we want to go out and we want to socialize with other adults, and it's nearly impossible if you can't hear yourself talking.
Yeah,
or
I
thinking,
agree.
for that matter.
Yeah.
So kudos to Fabrici and Historic Hyde Park. You guys are awesome. We'll be back. I think.
Oh yeah, that was amazing food.
I had like a wedge salad.
Oh wait, no,
I don't normally have salads and be like, wow,
here's the
that
funny
salad
thing.
was great.
Claude and I go out to eat, and I almost always get a burger or a steak. When I go out to eat, those are my favorite things.
Where does it all go?
Anyways,
so
I was gonna say it, but I was like, no, we'll just let it go. And Claude always gets something like crazy healthy, chicken or a salad or soup or something weird.
No, it's hard to tell, but I do try to eat
every
healthy.
time they come out and they try to give him the steak. And every time, and last night even Claude said, I know you would think that I'd be the one getting this, but no, it's her.
Yeah.
No. What are you going to do?
Yeah, I mean, whatever. It is what it is.
I find it pretty entertaining.
I'll take it. Why not?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that was a pretty good anniversary little.
It was. Yeah. Well, Friday we went out. Our amazing friend Emily, she performs, and so she did aerial stuff at the Straz, so that was really great. So we got to go watch her perform,
really trippy.
And it was kind of trippy. It was very cool, yeah. But and then afterwards we went out for drinks Friday night, and then yesterday we got to spend the day. We went shopping, always amazing. And then
we didn't spend that much money either. We spent like a decent amount of money. Hit the sales and everything.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. It goes to show, I hate to say this, guys, if you don't have kids and you can live without them, like having kids is not necessarily like I have to have kids or else my life. Don't feel guilty about that, because it really does change the dynamic of your relationship. We didn't have one microaggression or one argument the whhole time. Our son asked us a bunch of weird stuff, but we just kind of ignored him because he's a teenager and he can fend for himself. There's not a little person tagging on your pants trying to get you to do something every 5 seconds.
Or drawing on something.
Or something. Or having a meltdown because you got orange popsicles instead of strawberry popsicles. Sorry. Yeah. Got that morning after voice from yelling and screaming, drinking and partying from last night. But yeah, no, it was nice. It was calm and us just having one-on-one time. And it goes back. We say this all the time, because you have to have one-on-one time. Yes. This just happened to be our anniversary, and it was something we wanted to definitely do, but we try to get that one-on-one time again. We say this every episode: have your date nights. Yeah. Have your damn date nights.
Well, and it has to be very intentional, because you can't be on the phone. And there for a while, we were doing, we'll do date nights and we'll go out in group settings. But what we found is that, well, for me especially, I wasn't getting enough of that one-on-one time with Claude, and so then I would get really resentful and just constantly feeling, I don't know, how would you explain my feelings? I just felt left out.
I didn't explain your feelings as if they were going to give me $1 million.
I need that one-on-one time to feel fulfilled and to fill my cup, and there for a while.
You want to feel special. Yeah, that's all it is. You want to feel special. Yeah. That's all.
Yeah.
You want to feel like
it's about me.
A portion of my time has been set aside for you, and I think that's pretty normal when you're in a relationship with someone.
Yeah, but I feel like you don't need that. You just want me to talk you up. You don't need the one-on-one time.
I can, but see, the thing is, I consider one-on-one time the time that we're sitting on the couch with you, on TikTok for 3 hours and me watching TV. That's one-on-one time with me as well. I consider the one-on-one time.
It's so not interactive, though.
Every morning we have a cup of coffee together or two. So that I consider that as one-on-one time. Like during our normal everyday stuff, I consider that being one-on-one time. You like actually specialized, carved out time for us individually, and that's fine too. But it's not that I don't need one-on-one time. It's I can kind of consider all the time that we spend together one-on-one time. I mean, we work together. Recently, as of up until recently, we've basically worked at home together.
Yeah, but
so
when we're working
for
we're
like
working.
3 years.
We're in separate areas of the house.
I guess. But I still consider that one-on-one time. You know, we're home together.
Yeah.
Again, so
my definition's very different.
Yeah, I mean, that's all about communication, right? So if I say, hey, I'm good, I don't have to necessarily go out with you and have one-on-one time with you. It is nice, though. I do like those date nights. I do. That is nice. Mm-hmm. But I also do count, the time that we're here. This is one-on-one time. This is also, intimate time between the two of us. So it's just different. You got to communicate with your partner about it, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Absolutely. I want to ask you about something though. Do you don't really follow the news very often, do you?
I do. Well, it depends on what news you're talking about.
Are you familiar with the actress Kiki Palmer?
No.
She's in Jordan Peele movie Nope. I think Nope. Yeah.
Never even heard of it. Nope.
That's a shame. Well, she's an actress, and she recently got into a little bit of a public thing with her boyfriend. I don't know if he's still her boyfriend. Where she wore, I told you this. Remember I said, would you wear a sheer dress out in public? And you're like, no. Mm-hmm. And I said, even if you had your perfect body, would you wear a sheer dress out as a mom? And you said no.
Right.
Well, she did. She wore one, and I'll find it here and I'll show it to you. And I guess her boyfriend went on social media and basically commented on the picture and said, "You're a mom." So, basically, like, why are you wearing that? You're a mom.
But I wouldn't wear it because I'm a mom. I wouldn't wear it just because it's not my style. But I would never look at another girl and be like, "Oh no, you shouldn't." Like I would.
You don't do that. I feel like women do that all the time. Look at other women and go, "Oh, why are you wearing that?"
No. You know what I do? Oh my God, how do you look so good in that? Because I would never look that good at it. That's what I think of. But I don't look at somebody and go, "Oh my God, I can't believe you wore that."
That's the sheer dress right there.
Because
can you see it?
Oh, but I think that's beautiful.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, it's like basically a one-piece bathing suit with like sheer legs and arms.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
I see.
But I think his point was that like there's a level of decency that you should have as the mother of my children.
There's no but you wear that going to a bathing or going to a beach. So it doesn't matter. Everything's covered. It's not like you're naked.
And Kiki and I forget her husband's name is her boyfriend. They're celebrities, right? Mm-hmm. So celebrities have a whole different thing. Do you think that you as a non-celebrity saying that you like that's your style, you enjoy, that's how you enjoy dressing, mm-hmm. I have a body, I want to show it off. Do you think that that's okay?
Yeah.
And if I were to go online and go, "You're a mom."
If you did that at my significant other publicly instead of having a conversation with me, you and I would have a major issue.
See, and that's the thing, right? Because Kiki actually put out shirts, and I'm going to buy you one that says "I'm a mom" or something like that. Something like that.
But just because you're a mom doesn't make you any different. Sexy, right? Yeah, we can still be.
I think the problem. I think him having this sentiment about her dressing maybe overtly sexual in public is not a bad opinion to have. I think the way that he went about it, he basically shamed her. They're calling it mom shaming now. He basically shamed her for dressing sexy instead of having a one-on-one intimate conversation. "Hey, Kiki, I think you're beautiful. I love the way your body looks. But do you think it's appropriate?"
Well, but can I say, this is a him issue, not a her issue.
Okay.
He feels uncomfortable about what she's wearing.
Is he wrong for feeling uncomfortable, though?
Yeah, it's not his body. Now, here's my thing, right? As a couple, I'm a representation of you, and you're a representation of me.
Correct.
So here's my thing. If I, as a female, want to wear this, and you feel as if I'm now misrepresenting you because of it, then we need to have a conversation.
A one-on-one
conversation. But you can't say, "Oh, you're a mom." Don't blame it on the fact that I'm a mom. Let's get to the root of the problem, which is, "Hey, I feel uncomfortable when you wear this because I feel as if it's not appropriate and I feel some type of way about it." It's not, you know what I mean? That's a him issue. But not because she's a mom. He's probably insecure about people thinking poorly of him, that his girl's going out there looking like that. That's a him issue.
Well, and I think that for me personally, the dress didn't look that scandalous. No, I've seen worse.
Yeah,
right?
I've seen worse.
Right, so not that big of a deal for me as far as what was actually worn. I think for him, men in general have to look at these things kind of outside of the box, right? Because apparently she just had a baby in February.
Mm-hmm. Oh, she looks good.
Right. She just had a baby in February. He's now the father of her child. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, I think that his concern now is that, well, what if my kid sees this? What if our? Well, I think it's a genuine concern. I don't want to take away from his concern, right?
Oh, I don't.
But I think the problem is that I don't think you need to be with Kiki.
Right. I just think that's a personal conversation.
Right.
So here, let me bring it into us. I have an issue with time.
Yeah.
Huge issue with time. Huge anxiety. On time is late. I like to be there early. If we are not walking out when I want to walk out, I start to like almost hyperventilate. I've gotten better over the years. We've really worked that out. But I've tried to say to you, if you show up late with me, this is a reflection of me. But that's a me problem, right? This is something we've really had to work out. It is a me problem. What happens if we're late? To most things, nothing. But to me, I feel
not with our friends,
right? But I feel is if when we show up late, it's a reflection of me,
right?
And if you show up late, that's also a reflection of me. And for whatever reason, in my brain, that is like, oh my God, we're the worst people ever. And I don't know where it stems from. I don't know.
So you're making your argument for his feelings towards her outfit, though.
What I'm saying is that, yes, I am and I'm not. I'm saying that it's a him issue, not a her issue. And I'm saying it's a conversation that as a couple, you need to be having together.
Right.
Because if she then respects him and they have this good, maybe then he says, hey, I feel uncomfortable because, and she goes, oh my goodness, I don't want to make you feel that way.
Here's the thing. What if that was her compromise, right? It's like, as far as I can see, and if this is the correct dress, there was no stomach shown. It was literally basically a one piece suit that had sheer arms and legs.
Yeah.
And some cleavage. And Kiki is she got a little shape on her. So at the end of the day, I can see. I feel like it's an overreaction personally, but I can see his feelings. But I guess I go back to the sense that if you're not having that honest, you shouldn't have had that damn conversation with the world.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm not saying his feelings are right or wrong, right? Because feelings are not right or wrong; they just are. But you have to be having that private conversation.
Yeah.
Couples should not be having public conversations in front of people.
Right, and that's where the shame came in, right? Yeah. Because there would have been little or no shame if he would have said, hey, Kiki, I saw you out. You look beautiful. But I feel that, this misrepresents, what I want in a spouse.
I feel uncomfortable
and
because.
And then she would have the opportunity to say, hey, well, I feel sexy. I feel like it's okay. And then they can come to either come to consensus or terms about it, or they could just split up. Right. And it didn't have to be something that was done in public.
Right.
But I mean, they are celebrities.
But once again, right, I think the issue is people are more upset at the fact that he called her out on social media. Not what she wore or didn't wear, and whether or not that's an actual issue. Because to each their own. If she wants to wear it and she feels good about herself, great. The issues they have in their relationship is them problem, not anybody else's problem.
Do you feel like there's some kind of disproportionate double standard when it comes to dad sexiness and mom sexiness? Right, you feel like we kind of like get the whole like dad bod thing, like dads get a pass, dad bod sexiness, but when a mom is sexy, it's kind of highly scrutinized.
Well, but we also have to be sexy enough, right? Right. We can't let ourselves go because then, right, the stigma is then our husbands are going to go find somebody else. So you really have to still continue to look good, but you can't look too good. Just like you have to be. Nowadays, right, we're expected to be successful, but you shouldn't be so successful that you outshine your husband. I feel as if a wife and a mother, we are constantly walking this tightrope that's just unrealistic.
Yeah.
We have to be good, but we can't be too good. And it's, I don't know, there's just
what
a
is
lot
too
of pressure.
Sexy, though, for a mom? I mean, all right, so, like...
It depends. I think it's subjective.
Here's the actual overall opinion about that. I think that really it doesn't really matter what she was wearing because she could have been naked, now I would have been okay with her being naked if she was my wife. Why that's a bit much, but at the end of the day, he didn't have that conversation with her. She didn't have that conversation with him. Yeah, that's the biggest issue. And so it kind of got played out in public. But I do think there is a little bit more of a standard or more scrutinization when it comes to moms and what moms should be wearing and what moms should look like. No one. The idea that a mom bod is sexy to me, yes, a mom bod it looks very different to me as a father, as a husband, a woman over 40 that looks a certain way. You guys know who I'm talking about. It does exist. There is a sexiness around a mom bod.
I think it depends on the group, right? I feel like our generation and our friends, we don't have that perception.
Right. Well, because we're all over 30.
We're
all
over
us
30.
Moms,
right? So, or have children, but But I don't think that but once again too, right? We're not showing up to our kids' events in a skimpy dress.
This was a movie premiere. Yeah, that's true.
Right. So I'm saying like there's a time and a place. You're not showing up to your kids' sporting events in a skimpy out dress or whatever. But I'm not going to lie. I've been to sporting events where some of these moms, they do have short shorts on. Don't get me, I've had short shorts on. My ass isn't hanging out, but I have short shorts on.
Sometimes.
Yeah, but that's because sometimes they ride up
that's
and
just the style. I feel like cheeks out of shorts are like the style for women. I mean, there's some men's shorts now that they're called hoochie daddy shorts. You ever heard of hoochie daddies?
No.
Hoochie daddy shorts where they're like, I think it's 7 inches inseam or above. Is it called a hoochie daddy shorts? You've never heard of hoochie daddy? I have a couple. Like I'm technically wearing hoochie daddy shorts right now.
Oh, but those look good.
Thank you.
You're so funny.
But anyhow, I think again I go back to if you're not having open, honest communication, conversations with your significant other, you are always going to run into a situation where somebody feels slighted or like unheard or offended or misrepresented, because to me, I'm not saying, let me preface this. This outfit that you're wearing, this outfit that you're wearing right now, you came up and said, hey, does this look good? Well, I mean, at that point, that would have been my opportunity to be like, well, I think you're showing too much. And now, granted, do I have the right to say that?
In our relationship, so we've been married 8 years, together 10. Have you ever told me I'm showing too much?
No.
Right? I can't.
Well, because
I'm a very conservative person.
Because you're a very conservative person.
Yeah. But that's just because that's what I'm comfortable with.
Crop top shirt right now
this is pushing it for me.
It's pushing it for you.
And it's even just this little bit of belly. And Claude will say, "Oh, you can show more." I'm like, "No, I don't want to show more."
So it's interesting, but I do question the stability of their relationship. And again, I put their relationship in quotes because I don't know.
Well, you don't want to judge anybody's relationship. You don't really know what happens.
Well, I'm not judging it. I'm just simply saying, hey, he felt some type of way about what she wore. Mm-hmm. She basically said, I'm going to wear what I want. Well,
you don't know. He may have never said anything to her.
That's true.
He may have never said anything to her, waited. So you really don't know. You can't really. Right. I think of our relationship, our friends, even our friends group that we're all close to. There are lots of conversations we have without any of them knowing really what's going on.
Right.
And so there are times where comments can be made, and it's just like, hey, we don't feel the need. We don't have to get into this with you. We don't have to let you know what's going on between us.
That's true.
We're handling this ourselves.
I'll just say, obviously, he had a problem with what she was wearing.
Yeah, but were they together when he left the house?
I don't think they weren't together when they did the picture. The picture was taken and then they weren't together, and he just commented on that. I just think that if you're not, again, I go back to this, communication is key. And you don't have to embarrass your spouse if you don't agree with something that they're doing.
Yeah.
Public fights or public displays of
fights.
Aggression towards one another, and we talked about this the other day as it relates to fighting in front of your kids. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing about fighting in front of people you don't know and people you do know.
Yeah,
because you're putting your relationship all the way the hell out there.
Yeah,
and you're opening it up for scrutiny, and that's not saying we're not perfect. We've done it before, but I'm just
but it's still it's not even about any other people's scrutiny. It's just that if you are having these conversations with people in public, you're solving what? Nothing. The only way that you're going to solve the issue with your significant other is by talking to your significant other. But let's be real, it's not just talking to them. You have to know how to talk to them. Think of us. So we've been in therapy for over a year and are just now finally getting to the point where
we know how to talk to each other.
We're starting, and even then we still have to catch ourselves. You correct me all the time. Yeah. Renee, I need you to say what I hear you're saying, or I'll say, Claude, you're not hearing me. Repeat back to me what I just said, because what I said and what you heard are so very different.
Yeah, no, I can say one thing and Renee hears one.
And even to be honest, last night, even at dinner, we're having this conversation. And he says to me, as if we're disagreeing. And I said, no, we're saying the same thing. And he's like, no, you said X, Y, or Z. I was like, which means the same exact thing as what you just said. Yeah. And you said, no, but that's not what you said. And I was like, but that's what I meant. Like, to me, what
see, what you meant versus what you said are two different things. Right. That's why you have to have a conversation and you have to clarify.
Right. Well, and because to me, these words mean this, but to you, these words mean that.
Well, to the dictionary, the words mean this, but we won't go there.
But you only hear things the way that you've experienced them in the past. And because everybody's experiences are different, you see and hear things through a different lens.
That's true.
So, and sometimes you know that person so well that you're just automatically assuming what they mean by it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. That's what listening to respond versus listening to actually understand.
Right. And because even yesterday you had said a comment of, oh, hey, you said this. And I know you said that you meant it, but I feel like it was sarcastic.
Right.
And I said, well, so you're arguing with me without me being a part of the conversation? Because I told you what I meant, and that's like how we should roll with it. And if I have a problem, it's my obligation.
I wish that
come to you
there was a such thing as like an argument arbiter.
It is. It's called a therapist.
There you go.
Therapist.
There it is. There it is, guys. Get yourself a argument arbitrator slash.
But let's be real, right? A therapist doesn't.
Couples therapist.
They're not an arbitrator. They're here to make sure you're both communicating correctly to hear each other's side.
All of that already. Okay.
You did. You're drinking like a white girl brunch.
Yeah. Well. Anyhow. But yeah, no, I get communication is key, and I feel sorry for them because I feel like it's a misunderstanding or a miscommunication or their ideals and feelings around certain subjects don't mash up, and it was played out in the public. Well, they're celebrities, so I mean, at this point, who really cares? But for you, who aren't celebrities, I would say really bad idea to display any of your issues with your spouse in a public eye.
Yeah.
It's just not a good idea.
It's not healthy.
And ultimately, if you can't be with that person because of something that's a non-negotiable, then you can't be with them. But that's not something that should be put out on display for everybody to see.
Right. I agree.
In my opinion. Okay. So we have a very interesting advice today. I think that you're going to like it a lot, or not like it a lot. I think that you're going to find it quite interesting and have a lot to say about it.
Oh, boy.
But this week's question from the internet comes from No Loki, and the headline is, "My mom has poor emotional communication."
Most moms do in the older generation.
Oh, we don't know how old this person is. I love my mom a lot. I think they're an adult. They definitely know. I love my mom a lot, and I like to believe she loves me too. I mean, she sacrificed a lot for us, me and my siblings, and always put our physical needs above hers. But when it comes to emotional needs, it's not the same. Expressing myself emotionally to her is such a struggle. I always have to be extra careful to pick the right words, or else she would get hurt instead and make it about her. Also, other times when I'm crying and need to talk to her, to just hear some reassuring words or get a hug, she either runs away from me and gets my dad instead, or gets angry and tells me, "You are being dramatic. It's not that big of a deal," or something in that context. If I tell her that she hurt me once, she twists the words and somehow makes it my fault every single time, and that's in caps. If I insist, she will break out, making it about her again, guilt tripping me, even not talking to me for days or leaving the whole house. Can someone tell me the reason behind this behavior? I always feel invalidated, always feel guilty, even though I have been her first emotional supporter since I was a child. And as a footnote, her relationship with my dad is unstable and toxic, so I'm aware she's carrying a lot on her shoulders. Go.
I can't with you. I just want to hit you.
Why are you hitting me?
Oh my gosh, there's so much.
So much there, right?
Oh, wow. Well, first things first, right? As she ends saying, "I've always been my mom's most emotional supporter from the beginning." No, that should never happen. Right. Your child should never be the person you go to for your emotional issues.
Never.
And I get it, right? So me being 40, being raised by somebody right through the 80s and the 90s, they did not have, I don't think, the knowledge that we do now when it comes to emotional intelligence. Is that what they call it?
Yeah.
Or and so back then, that is kind of what they did. I think a lot of our parents from our generation put the weight of their emotional baggage on us. They would have those conversations with us and tell us things that we just shouldn't have known because it adds that level of stress.
Not my mama.
Okay. But that's not healthy. Your child should never be your emotional go-to person.
Right.
And the other thing is that
The mom not having. Do you want the mom not having emotional support for the child? I know that's what you want to comment on.
Yeah, no, that's so difficult, right? Here's the thing: you have to set boundaries with your mom.
Yeah.
You have to have very strict boundaries, and just know that your mom probably did the best that they could with what she had. her toxic relationship with the father is not an excuse
to
treat the child badly.
Correct.
But at the end of the day, only you are going to protect your own emotional, psychological welfare. So if you have a parent that is constantly not supporting you, having that strict boundary of knowing, hey, maybe I just don't talk to her about these things at all.
Right.
Not because you didn't have the mom that you needed. A mom can do the best that they could
and still not be
enough.
Right.
And that's okay. And it's very heartbreaking to feel, because it's almost like you've lost a parent. You feel as if you've lost a parent. But one of the other issues that I think that I can see with some of these parents is they don't take accountability. You say, you really hurt me. Well, that's not my fault. That was your fault. You were too emotional.
Being too soft.
You were so dramatic. You just need to suck it up. I know that this encounter makes you uncomfortable, but that's a you problem. No, it's not a me problem.
Right.
I no longer want to be a part of this conversation. I no longer want to be a part of family get-togethers because I ask you not to bring these subjects up and you continue to do it. So, hey, guess what? I'm not going to be a part of them anymore. If you want a relationship with me, you need to respect my boundaries of we're not talking about certain subjects. And you need to respect when I say I'm done, that I'm done and walk away.
So there's a lot there, right?
So much.
I definitely agree with the fact that a child should never be the emotional support for an adult, a parent. It just shouldn't.
Yeah,
never. And I never had that growing up. My mother was always definitely a rock most of my childhood. But I will definitely say, your mom probably. So as parents, we always take into parenting what we lacked in our
when we were growing up.
Mm-hmm. Right? So I have to probably say that your mother more than likely does not have a good relationship, not just with your father, but probably with their father and mother, right?
They weren't taught. And
we either do one of two things when that happens. We either overcompensate to cover what we didn't have growing up, or we perpetuate it. And so unfortunately, I think you're in a situation where your mom is probably perpetuating how she was raised and how she grew up, right? Especially the older generation, the 80s past the boomers and the Generation X. Feelings and therapy and emotional intelligence were just things that only crazies did.
As far as weak people.
As far as with weak people, right?
Yeah.
You're not a strong enough person. No. Oh God, you're going to therapy. Oh, you're just being dramatic. That's
you need to stop with all that therapy.
You need to stop with all that therapy crap, right?
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that's not just something that they just think, but that's something that was indoctrinated in them.
Yeah.
It was in the media. It was in social settings. If you're religious, I don't think that was something that was ever even talked in religion. Mm-hmm. Emotional, psychological health. So your parent is definitely somebody who I think is perpetuating something that came from their upbringing. Now, with that being said, obviously your mom is not your emotional supporter. So for you need a therapist. I hate to say this, but you definitely need a therapist.
Yeah.
And like Renee said, it's you have to have boundaries. Nothing wrong with having boundaries. Now, there's no age in this particular question. We usually do get ages, but there's no age there. So obviously, if you're not over the age of 18, it's difficult for you to go out and get a therapist on your own. But, continue to have those hard conversations, right? And still have those boundaries. But also recognize that our parents did do the best that they could with what they had, and they're really only just perpetuating how they brought up, what were social norms back then. So, if you are an adult, obviously I would get a therapist to help with that, but also know that it's okay to have those boundaries with your mom.
Yeah. And I think that's an important statement, right? Because we were taught, or I was taught growing up, that your family always comes first. It doesn't matter what they do. It doesn't matter what they do. They can treat you any way they want to, and you just have to accept it and tolerate it because that's your family. That is false. You do not have to tolerate poor behavior, not from your mom, not from your child, not from your grandpa, not from your uncle, not from anybody. You do not have to tolerate somebody treating you poorly over and over again. You have to accept responsibility when you are wrong in situations. But if somebody is consistently treating you a certain way, you continue to try to have healthy conversations with them to tell them, hey, I feel this way when you do this. Can we please not bring up these things because it never ends up, whatever. Then you're not the problem.
Right.
And you can say no. And I say that as somebody who understands how difficult that is. It's very difficult to cut family out, or to limit yourself to family. But
and And that doesn't mean
but
you
it's
don't
okay.
love
It doesn't,
them. That
right.
doesn't mean that you don't still care for them and wish
And they're
them
going to
the
tell
best.
you, they're going to tell you that you don't love them anymore.
Right.
They're going to say, oh, well, because you've pulled yourself back and you're no longer here for me, like I've known you for your entire life, you're the problem. And you're going to be the black sheep of the family. And that's okay.
Selfishness is always taken as a negative thing, but when it comes to your emotional, mental, psychological health, you can be a little selfish.
Yeah, because you're the only one that will be. Nobody else is going to take care of you.
No one else can take it. And we say this all the time. No one can put on your mask for you. You have to put on your own mask. And unfortunately, if you are a child, it is the parent's responsibility to put your mask on after they put their own. But it seems like in this situation, your mom has never even put her own mask on.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where you have to understand the battles you're fighting. A lot of us are fighting these generational I think in religion it's called generational traumas. Yes, these generational traumas, these DNA altering generational traumas.
And we pass it down. We legit pass this
down.
Because when you think of maybe this mom, right? This mom has learned this behavior from her parents. Right. And now let's say you now go to therapy. You learn how to stop this. So that way when you do have children, you don't repeat that cycle. You're breaking that.
Right.
And now you're going to teach your child better coping mechanisms. And you're not going to be perfect at it because God knows we're not perfect at it. But then your child gets a little bit better, and then they pass that little bit better on to their child. And that's how you really start to change the way we speak to each other, the way that we respect each other.
Absolutely.
Because I think somewhere along the lines, we I don't know why. Why do you think that we had that at one point in time and it was lost? Being able to respectfully talk to each other, respect each other's opinions, feelings? Or do you just think it was never there and we're just evolving?
I think humans, like assholes, don't bleep me, Spotify, everybody has opinions, right?
Yeah.
And some of them are all messed up. But the way we feel and think about things are, like you said before, they're based on our experiences. And people are not sharing their experiences.
Because they're worried about being vulnerable.
Right. And again, I go back to this person, no low key. You're probably not having candid, honest, open conversations with your mother. Well, it doesn't seem like she even wants to talk about this when she runs away and gets your dad.
Yeah.
And so those are the barriers that you're going to have to break through if you want to fix that.
And because in situations like that, right, in an experience like this type of a parent, when you do try to have those conversations, you're told you're the problem. So why would you ever open up to somebody who, instead of saying, oh my gosh, what I hear you saying is that you feel this way when I do this. Instead, they're saying, well, you're wrong. You looked at me the wrong way. Or you shouldn't have mentioned this when I was having a bad day, or whatever the case may be. Instead of validating their feelings, saying, I'm so sorry. How can we move forward? How can I make this better in the future? And I think that's really the big difference, right?
Yeah. And
apologies are everything. Validating somebody's feelings, apologizing when you're wrong, accepting responsibility when you're wrong,
and evolving though,
and asking how can we do better.
But yes, evolving. I think all of that is great, but it's meaningless if you don't evolve your perception of how things should be, right? And how you're going to move forward.
Right.
I am someone that likes to think that, hey, you can tell me that I've done something wrong or you're not comfortable with how I act or certain things, but if I truly care about you, what's important is that I find a way in myself to change that. We're not going to change who you are. I don't like people always think you have to change. I'm not going to change for anybody. No, you don't have to change for anyone. But you do have to evolve, right? You do have to evolve. You can still be yourself, but be a better self. Be your better self.
Well, and I think, too, the other key thing that you said was, do I care about this relationship?
Right.
If I care about you, I don't want to hurt your feelings.
Right.
And if something that I'm doing or saying is hurting your feelings, I'm going to address that.
Right.
Now, once again, just as we kind of talked about the dress thing and in relationships, there may be some things that I'm just willing, no.
Right.
But then that's my choice. You've told me how you feel, and now I can make that decision to say, well, I'm sorry, this friendship can't continue.
Exactly.
Or this relationship can't continue. But we need to be honest with each other instead of just pretending both of us that nothing's wrong.
Exactly.
And then there's nothing wrong with that. If you tell me something's hurting your feelings, I tell you I cannot change this.
Right.
We can both mutually agree to go our separate ways, still have love and respect for each other, and just say, hey, this just isn't healthy for us anymore.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
I agree. I think, closing this out, I'll say this. We'll go back to what we said before about how, we are all experiencing a lot of generational trauma. A lot of things that are brought down and passed down from generation to generation. And that's like a river, right? That's like a river flowing whatever direction it's going.
Y'all, it changes your DNA.
It changes your DNA.
Trauma changes your DNA.
Trauma changes your DNA. And as our generation, the Gen Z and the millennials, start to be more mental health conscious and conscious of boundaries that we have to have with the older generation, we are going to be almost like a dam in a river. You know, and it's going to be hard to build a dam in a river because the water's coming, it's flowing, and it's knocking things down. But you have to be strong, and you have to be very had to have a lot of tenacity, and you have to just be strong, because building mental health is like building a dam or building a wall. And you have this river of generational trauma just coming and hitting you left and right and left and right and left and right. And the generation before us just don't have the tools. So we have the tools to build that dam to stop generational trauma. And it's not easy, and you got to take a lot of the downstream crap, but you have to keep going. You really have to, because it's the only way to stop you from passing it to your children and your children from passing it to their children. Ultimately, that's how we become a better society. But that's just my thoughts.
I like it.
And I'm not a professional. So, but it is what it is. But okay, guys. So make sure you are, if you're watching us on YouTube right now, make sure you like and subscribe. If you you love us, make sure you definitely go to our TikTok, our Instagram, our Facebook, like, share, please. Also, if you want to DM us on any of those as well, we would love to hear the things that you're going through and give you a little bit of advice based on our experiences. We're not professionals, but we can only tell you about the things that we know from what we've gone through. So. Yeah. So great show. Thank you. Happy anniversary.
Yes, happy anniversary.
Once again, guys, I am Claude.
And I'm Renee.
And this has been Before the Kids Wake Up. Y'all have a great day.